Hey everyone, Humphrey here, back with another Router Gods sales engineer video. And today we're talking about a techie who has realized that salespeople get more recognition and get better paid and get all the perks. So I got this topic from one of the subreddits. It's called Ask Singapore. Yeah, Ask Singapore. And the reason I'm on Ask Singapore is because I have a Singapore personalized employment pass, a PEP, a work permit, and of course for the last 2.5 years before I quit Mega Corporation in August, I was working as a sales engineer. Jobs, technical versus sales, in general, regardless of the industry, why do the salespeople always get the recognition, the benefits, and etc.? They seem to get more retreats, more sales retreats, and these are sales retreats are like sales champion, chairman's club, offsites, QBRs, quarterly business reviews, where if you're working in Singapore, maybe you get to go to Thailand for a week. Maybe you get to go to Australia for Sydney. I've done that for Cisco Singapore. Hey man, 1 week in Sydney, all expenses paid. They paid for the flight, they paid for the hotel, and it was the Marriott Marquis on the bay. I mean, it was a great hotel, and all the food, etc. So yeah, we do get the retreats. Buffet, I don't know about the buffet. Where'd the buffet come from? Yes, unfortunately, this is true. Salespeople generally get more recognition than the technical people. Now, I'll explain what happens in a typical, let's say, VAR or service provider consulting type firm. You've got your delivery technical people, your network engineers, your post-sales support, and what they do is they actually implement the solution, whether it's an ERP system, whether it's the network, whether it's the APs, whether they hang the APs up on the ceiling. It could be installing the switches, installing the routers, configuring everything. So that's the technical post-sales team, the actual people who deliver it, the delivery team. Now, it doesn't matter how good your delivery team is, it doesn't matter how good your support is if no one knows about what you're selling. So most consulting firms, most VARs, probably the vast majority of them, have a sales team that goes out and sells the solution. Now, it could be by project, it could be looking for RFPs and bidding for them, it could be billable hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, it could be some type of subscription. So we sell you a service subscription, some type of enterprise agreement, and you get 5 to 10 hours every month. Now, it's good because this person recognizes that salespeople get treated better. At least that's the perception. So that's good because a lot of the techies do not see this. They don't realize it until it's too late. They are completely oblivious and they continue down the path of, well, I'm getting my CCNP, I'm getting my CCIE, and that's fine if that's what you want, right? There are a lot of techies out there who are completely happy with being and staying a techie. But there are folks out there who wake up one day and go, you know what? I'm sick of the calls. I'm sick of carrying the hot potato phone on the weekend and answering all the calls. And I'm sick of getting paid $80,000 to $100,000 busting my ass when the salespeople are making $200,000, $250,000 and up when they hit a great deal. Now, you may be interested in where I am. So this looks like an A-loft. Yeah, it looks like an A-loft, but it's not actually an A-loft. It's called Skyloft. So this is the Skyloft in Kyiv, Ukraine, and it is quite snowy outside. We'll just turn the camera around. Takes a while for the exposure to kick in. Yeah, quite snowy. It looks like Christmas. I mean, other than it's war, but when you're in sales, you are considered to be revenue generating. You're in sales, right? You make a deal, money comes in. Whereas when you're in delivery, when you're a quote unquote techie, you are considered a cost center. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the term, what is a cost center? Cost center means money goes out. You're not considered to be bringing any money. Things have to be done cheaper, things have to be done faster, and it's just, you're a cost. You have a dollar amount put next to your head, and if they could make you cheaper, or if they could hire someone better for cheaper, they would probably do it, right? Whereas with the salespeople, you're bringing in money, and if you're paying the salesperson more, it's actually considered okay as long as the salesperson brings in more money, right? So if a salesperson brings in $1 million, let's just say, and they're getting paid, let's say, $150,000 a year, you hire someone for $200,000 a year, like, wow, this person costs $50,000 more per year, but they bring in $2 million worth of business. That is considered worth it because, yeah, you're paying them more, but they brought in more money. Life is good. That's how businesses look at it. The closer you are to the money, so the closer you are to how the money comes in, the better. And so what this means is you're the salesperson, you're actually close to the contracts being signed, the money coming in. Whereas if you're a delivery person, you're at the tail end. And if you're the support person, man, you're at the real tail end of it. Now, does that mean the techies are not important? Absolutely not. If you don't have a good technical team, if you don't have a good delivery team, well, eventually that reputation gets around, people talk, and especially in a country like Singapore. Singapore is small. So if you do a horrible job delivering, let's say, a network solution to a mall, let's say, there are only so many mall companies in Singapore. And people move around and they will talk, right? And eventually, no one's going to accept your bids. No one's going to accept your calls because your reputation sucks. So yeah, techies are still important, but the people who work in the technical side, the delivery side, yeah, I mean, you have the potential to make less money. You have the potential of having the perception of not getting all the perks. There are some benefits to working on the delivery side, the technical side. One perk is you don't have to deal with the sales goals, like the sales engineers and the account managers. And what the goals are is they could be quarterly goals, they could be yearly goals, fiscal year goals. And this is you have to sell 1 million, you have to sell $5 million, and it just keeps going up. You'll very rarely have a situation where it goes down unless it's something like a COVID situation. At the very best, you can kind of hope for it to be flat. But yeah, generally goals go up. So as a techie, you don't have a goal. You have your day-to-day job, and then you probably have a KPI or MBO, pretty much the same thing. And you have to do certain bonus things, certain extra things to get a bonus. And that bonus could be, let's say, 10 to 20%, right, on top of your income. So your income tends to be more consistent, and for a lot of people that's probably better than a sales income. So sales income, you get the base and you get the commission. Now it could be a 75-25% split, so a 75% base, 25% commission. It could be for account managers, sometimes it's 50-50. So 50% base, 50% commission. So that means the account manager really has to sell, or they have the potential to make less than a sales engineer. That's probably good for another video. It is possible in a really bad year for your AM to make less than you as a sales engineer. It can happen. And it's also possible for a manager, a sales engineering manager, to make less than a good sales engineer. Probably good for a different video, right? But consistent income for the techie. Now, balance that with the fact that as a sales engineer, when you go on the sales side, yeah, your income is not as consistent. It's spiky depending on the team that you're in. If you're an enterprise, it's going to be really spiky because your deals are huge and they come once in a while. But in a good year, you will totally blow out the techie, like the support guy or delivery engineer. You will make multiples of the techie. 3, 4, maybe 5, right? In a super good year. So over the long run, yes, the sales engineer, the sales teams make more. They make significantly more over the long run as you average it. Let's talk about the offsites. And I kind of touched on that before. Yeah, for the most part, the salespeople, they get a lot of offsites because there's budget for entertainment, there's budgets for get-togethers. Now, depending on your company, it might be a lot, it might be a little. And a lot of companies, even though it's no longer COVID now, they're still trying to crank down or crack down on the travel expenses because it looks like we're going into a recession, there's layoffs, et cetera, et cetera. The golden years of travel could be behind us. I'm not saying it's totally gone, but it could be behind us. And also a lot of companies realized during COVID that Zoom and WebEx and virtual meetings can actually do a lot. It can't 100% replace the social interaction that you get in a normal meeting. But if it's 75% of the way there, 80% of the way there, then companies will obviously use it, and they cut down on the flights and cut down on the hotels and cut down on the meeting room. So you don't understand how much money and effort it takes to do these off-sites. That might be a good video for later too. I know some people that organize these things, and it's hell. You don't want to be the guy organizing it or be conned into doing it. Perception that technical teams work harder. Yeah, technical teams work harder. Generally in sales, you might be, on a normal day, you might be done at around 5 to 6 p.m. Right? I know people that 4:30 p.m. comes around, 4 p.m. comes on, they go to the bar. Right? I know people like this, and they do completely fine other than getting drunk every day. But generally you don't work too late. Now, you do have spikes where you get an RFP, you get a tender, and you have to fill it out. And yeah, now you're going to be working until 2 a.m. filling this 500-page question thing, right? But those don't come in every week, right? Those may come in like once every month, once every 2 months, that type of thing. As a general rule, yes, the sales teams do seem to have a better quality of life. Also, they have budget to go out. Okay? You have budget generally to take customers out and to take them to bars, to take them to dinners. So I think this person saw that, and man, these guys are getting retreats and buffets and all that. We don't get buffets, but we could take a customer to a buffet. We could take them to, I'll give you a good example. In Singapore, there's Korean hot pot, which, yeah, it's kind of a buffet, right? You just order a whole bunch of stuff and drinks and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a buffet. And yeah, we have budget for that. So if a customer's been really good, we've closed a big deal, or there's a big deal on the table, and we want more information from the partner or what et cetera, then yeah, we can do that. We have the budget. We could throw down a credit card. We can get reimbursed. Whereas the delivery team don't generally have that unless, now some of the higher ups will be delivery person / light salesperson. So you get to know the delivery person, you get to talk to them, and maybe they do get a little bit of budget to take customers out and stuff like that. But yes, generally salespeople have a better quality of life. They end their days earlier. They can take customers out. Now, on the flip side of that, yes, great dinners and going to bars and drinking and stuff, that's cool. But you have to enjoy the company. And yeah, there's been situations where I don't like the person, right? And it is a pretty bad situation to be having a dinner and drinking with the person that you don't like, right? You just don't get along with them. I mean, it's a little awkward too. But the way I look at it is I'd rather have dinner and drinks by myself than with the person that I don't like. Now, combine that with the fact that the vast majority of the customers that I went with, the vast majority of the partners, I did get along, or at least you have a professional working relationship, right? So that's the flip side of the dinners and the drinks. I'll end this with 2 things that you can do. If you are that delivery person, you got 2 options here. 1, you can complain and grumble, and you can try to fight for equal treatment. That's not going to happen. You can fight for better treatment, but you probably will not get to a point where you are treated as equals to the sales side. And this is not me being pessimistic, it's just the fact of life. This fight is an impossible fight, right? So, and I say that as a former network engineer, as a former techie who has gone to sales. You could spend your life being miserable and fighting the system, so to say. Or 2, you could become a sales engineer. If you recognize that the quality of life is better and the pay is better and you get food and buffets and offsites and travel, why not become a sales engineer? And that's what I'm doing these videos for free, right? There's no subscription or anything like that. So if this is the first time you've been to Router Gods on the YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more sales engineer questions. All right, stay safe, folks. Bye.